Welcome to another episode of Junior Achievement Nigeria in collaboration with Halef webinar. So kindly tell us where you're tuned in from. My name is Goodness and I'll be your host for today. Just let us know your name and then where you are tuning in from. Hi, Madonna. Nice to have you here, all the way from Bauchi. I hope we get to see your face. Looking to have more comments. Hi, Jessica. Wow, all the way from Malta. Awesome. Hello. I set for an amazing time. I'm waiting for more comments, more comments, more comments. All right. So welcome everyone. Like I said, my name is Goodness Godwin-Osoro and I'll be your moderator for today. I work with Junior Achievement Nigeria as the Senior Marketing and Communications Officer. And at Junior Achievement Nigeria, we're tailored towards investing in young people between the ages of 5 to 35. So using 4 core pillars, that is financial literacy, work readiness, entrepreneurship, and digital literacy, right? We teach young people how they can build sustainable income from a very young age. And so today we'll be partnering with Halef to help you see how you can monetize Facebook, even if it is that very platform that the I think we've pushed it, the Gen Zs have pushed it to the millennials because we don't want to see it at all. But we have somebody awesome here who is going to be teaching us how to monetize on Facebook, right? About last 2 weeks, we learned about how we could monetize on Twitter. We learned about sustainable ways to ensure we grow our business, how we could jump on trends that are necessary or in line with our business. And today we want to continue in that learning. And so I'll be inviting Emeka Okenwa to go ahead and teach us that session. Over to you, Emeka.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So good evening from Nigeria for those of you connecting from outside Nigeria. My name is Emeka Okenwa, and I lead the SMB team for Aleph. Now, for those of you who don't already know what Aleph is, so we like to say Aleph is the leading global enabler of digital advertising, connecting thousands of advertisers with the world's leading digital platforms like Meta, Twitter, Snapchat, Spotify, Google, Microsoft, and some other digital platforms that you know. So in Nigeria, we are authorized sales partner for Meta, Twitter, Snapchat, Spotify, and some other radio platforms as well. So we are not just local subject matter experts, you know, because we globally represent the world's leading platform, you know, TikTok in some other countries, Google, Reddit, Twitch in some other countries, right? And we are currently in about 130 plus markets, you know, across the globe. So in Nigeria, here we have a local team. and then we like to partner, or we love to do initiatives like this with junior achievers to help with digital literacy and empower so let's say local use, right, within the market. Now, quickly, I'm going to be speaking basically for Meta. I know, like Goodness did mention, some 2 weeks back, we had the session on Twitter, and now we are looking into how we can monetize or make the best out of Meta. So before we go ahead, I don't know if anyone did notice that while Goodness was introducing, she did say Facebook, but I have been saying Meta. Right. So is anyone in this call familiar with the term Meta? Or does anybody know why I am using Meta instead of just Facebook? Anyone? Like if I get 1 or 2 answers, right, I'm fine. You can drop your answer in the chat box. I think this is where the education starts from. Aha, so Pascal Alexander says Meta owns Facebook and WhatsApp. Yeah, 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 Meta owns Facebook and WhatsApp. I think maybe the next answer could be a little more robust, right? I think there's one platform that's missing here, a very key platform actually. So no one's going to challenge Pascal's answer. Aha, Pascal again challenged himself. And then there's Faith Ogundele here who says IG. Yeah, so so Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Up until a few years ago, right, what was predominantly known was Facebook. Instagram was a platform on its own, WhatsApp another platform on its own. But over the years, there have been some major acquisitions, and we know that the Facebook company acquired Instagram and WhatsApp, and a few years ago, there was a total rebranding, okay, and then all of these platforms were put under one umbrella called Meta. So basically, when we say Meta, we are talking Facebook, we are talking Instagram, and then we are talking WhatsApp as well. There's also something we like to call there are other audience networks, around what Meta owns, and also there's the metaverse and all that. Yeah. So for those of you, the newer guys, right, in this closer generation, I know you're probably familiar with the Oculus, right, and the AI world. But then again, just to debunk another myth, right, Facebook was not necessarily pushed to the millennials, right? So is there anyone here that's currently on Facebook? Is there anybody here that's actively using Facebook? Anyone? Anyone? If you're on Facebook, I don't mind if you can mention the last thing you did on Facebook. What did you do? What did you last do on Facebook? Anyone? So it would appear no one's on Facebook here. Okay, so true to goodness's word, right? Nobody here is on Facebook. Aha. So Toby Loba says she manages multiple pages. I reckon that the pages she's managing has maybe 700,000 millennials and no Gen Zs. Right. If not, some people here will be answering. And then, okay, the same pulse check for Instagram. If you use Instagram very active, if you have an Instagram account and you use it actively, can you indicate maybe with a show of an emoji? Okay, so the last thing Madonna did on Facebook was to post her aunt's wedding pictures. Please don't tell me that was 20 years ago. Okay, Faith Ogundele does use it. She does use IG. Okay. Now, so interestingly, I would do a little bit of background when it comes to these platforms. We all know they are called social platforms. First things first. Okay, it's social networking. It's a social platform. This is how these platforms, or this was the original intent to which these platforms were founded. Now, Facebook was founded because Mark Zuckerberg at the time thought, okay, I could invent something, that people could use to connect with friends, and keep tabs and exchange, keep communication with friends, right? So from individual friends to groups to family and loved ones, share images, share pictures and all that. Now, over the years, while we started to notice a paradigm shift in the general economics of things when we're moving from the industrial age to the information age, now the use of these social platforms, or what we like to call social engineering, also started to, to transition a bit. Now, we started to see that huge information was being shared across these platforms. Now, people were joining in mass, in millions. I'll give you a little bit of data. As of the last census that was done, or the last data IPS pool, okay, for 2023, in May 2023, on Instagram alone, there are over 2 billion monthly active users all around the world. Okay. Now, I know the population census states that the world is about 7 billion people. Okay. Now, imagine out of 7 billion people, there are 2 billion people actively, right, using Instagram. Let's bring it home. In Nigeria here, monthly active users is about 13 million people, right? That's on Instagram. This is the plot twist. On Facebook, that has been claimed to be relegated to the background, we have 45 million active users every month. So it would amaze you that there are more users on Facebook than there are actually on Instagram. Okay, there are more communities on Facebook than there are on Instagram. There are more groups on Facebook than there are on Instagram. What I'm trying to say is each of these platforms actually have the unique audience that they appeal to, right? They also have their unique purpose that they serve. Okay, like for instance, the community gatherings or the community initiatives and stuff that you would find on Facebook, you may not find these on Instagram. Now, the reason I shared these numbers is because I wanted us to have a clear insight into the data that we have on ground. Now, if we understand the data that we have on ground, then we can also understand how much potential, right, it is that these platforms are. Now, when it comes to monetizing, okay, whether you are a business owner, whether you're an individual, okay, monetizing simply means making money out of something, right? So you have an asset and then you want to make money out of it. It's like what people always say, you could have a great skill, right? And if you don't market your skill, right, you wouldn't get anything out of it. So it's probably going to have it with you, yourself and your family. Now, before the advent of social media and social engineering and social networking, okay, there's something we used to call traditional marketing. Okay, that's the use of billboards, out of home advertising, radio, TV, newspapers, and all that stuff. I remember going to school in my secondary education years, right? And then when we get to major junctions or bus stops and stuff, you tend to see people's fathers, right? As I like to put it, grown men, right, in clusters at bus stops, struggling to read headlines on newspapers. If you remember, and some of us remember some of these things. Now, that's information they were trying to get, okay? But then they have to gather, because sometimes maybe some of them couldn't afford to buy the newspapers at the time. So we gathered, or they gathered at the bus stops. At those times, I would actually wonder, why these guys gathering here? The information was not getting to them. It couldn't get to them in real time, right? But since the advent of Twitter, I would say Twitter, for instance, okay, before it happens, sometimes it feels like magic, okay? While it is happening, you already know, okay? You go on Instagram, while it is happening, you already know. You go on Facebook, while it is happening, you already know. So that means there's fast data, there is fast information, there is quick feedback, you are not left out of anything, okay? These are some of the perks or some of the things that you actually enjoy with social engineering that we currently have now. Now, as an individual, in the time of the traditional marketing, when traditional marketing was quite predominant, okay, there were limitations to how much you could take out of marketing at the time. There were as a business owner, there were limitations to how much you could push your business using traditional marketing. So at that time, I think what was mostly predominant when it comes to selling was something we call bush marketing. Okay, if you are a small business owner, you will leverage more on bush marketing, which is word of mouth. I think some people say word of mouth. You talk to this person talks to that person. Mr. XXS sells this stuff. So you talk to this person tells this person. And most times it comes from use, okay? It comes by the reason of use. So you must have used the product and then you liked it, so you refer somebody else. That's basically what small businesses leveraged at the time, to grow their business. It would cost an average of maybe 10 million, 50 million, to put an ad, on a billboard. And if you are going to take a small space in the magazine or in a newspaper at the time, it will probably cost you maybe 100K for just one article release. Come on, small businesses at the time. How are you going to make anything out of that? Now, but since the advent of this social commerce, social engineering, we find that one of the things that this has actually helped us to do is it gives visibility. Okay. Now tell me, how best could you sell or could you make money out of something that you have, probably be it a gift, an item that you sell, a product that you sell, rather a service that you are offering? How best could you monetize that than making it available to multitudes of people? Don't forget that first things first, marketing in its own essence is awareness, creating awareness for a brand or a product or a service that you are offering. Okay. And where the bulk or the crux of marketing is in reaching people. So the reason you are marketing is because you want to reach people. So imagine you have a platform that gives you access to 2 billion people, right? 2 billion people. Now, if you don't want to sell cross-border, if you don't want to be known, let me not use the word sell now, so it doesn't seem like it's just for merchants or businesses. Now, if you don't want to be known, like globally, I'll bring it home to our local space here. On Instagram, there are 12.5 million people. On Facebook, there are about 45 million people, okay? So you take one piece of content, you put it out there, and then there is a possibility of on an average now, there's a possibility of about 35 million people seeing the stuff that you have put out there. So you have a wider reach, because of social commerce now or social engineering, right? So I like to say, this is fascinating, right? It's mind-blowing. I started my journey in digital strategy and digital advertising and all that stuff sometime in 2010, 11. Before that, I was in traditional marketing. I did a little bit of traditional marketing after my university days, and then I delved into digital. Now, I started digital with writing content. Okay, I would write scripts and all that stuff. And then I used to post the scripts on blogs. Okay, I used to write on Reddit. I used to write on blogs, very popular blogs at the time. Okay, but the feedback or the responses that we used to get in those days, as at 2010 or 11 thereabout, from one blog post was nothing compared to one hello that was said on Facebook. Right? So you say hello on Facebook and 5,000 people are liking it. Right? At that time, myself and a few of my friends, we thought this is powerful. This is data right in our hands. This is awareness right in our hands. Okay. But how do we maximize this? At that time, there was no advertising. It was just there for us to engage, for us to interact. Then you know what people started to do in the early days? So people actually started to put out content. Now, this content could actually be for sales purposes or for personal development purposes or just for entertainment purposes. For instance, I like to play football, or I know how to juggle football. I take a ball and I'm juggling it, right? And I post it out there on Facebook. Somebody sees it. 10,000 people see it. 15,000 people are seeing it, right? Before then, that was not available. Okay. Now, even though at the time this was not monetized, but there was something it was doing. It was giving people a sense of belonging at that time. Like, okay, so I can do something and people can see it. Now you should understand that the advertising part of social commerce actually came out of the kind of engagements, the interactions that were actually happening organically. Okay, because when it comes to social commerce and social engineering, there's something we call organic, right, and paid content. Okay, so organic content are the contents rather are the ones that you do for free. You just post, like for instance, you go on your Instagram feed, you do something, you post it on your Instagram feed, you go to your Facebook, you post it there. Now, that's different from paid advertising or paid content, right? But paid content actually came out of organic content. Why? Because people actually started to interact with posts and started to see value in what other people were posting, right? And they started to make inquiries about how they could actually, be a part of what this other person was doing. Okay, now I'm juggling the ball. Somebody sees that I could juggle the ball very well. He needs a ball juggling service. He calls me. Right, say hi. I saw on Facebook that you can juggle very well, so please come juggle for me for 10 grand. So you see, people actually started to make money off organic posts, and then eventually, because there's something we call the algorithm. The algorithm is what decides how people see your post and who can see your post. Now, this don't forget, this is science. It's engineering. Okay, so you cannot get the entire 10,000 people following you or the entire 10,000 people that are on Facebook or Instagram to see your post. So what this platform started to do at the time is they introduced paid content. Now, at this point rather, you are paying the platform to be able to show what you are offering beyond your immediate reach. And when I say your immediate reach, I'm talking about the persons that are following you or that you are following. So for instance, you have your Instagram account, right? And you have 1,000 people following you, and then you like to sing. Okay, you could post a video of you singing, and the 1,000 people that are following you will see your video singing. But do you know there are 2 billion people on Instagram? So if Instagram then tells you, if you want the people beyond your 1,000 to see what you're doing, right, you give us 5,000 naira, okay, and then we'll give you extra views, right? So we'll reach a broader audience with your 5,000. Now, the more money you can pay to the platform, for instance, the more views or the more viewership they can give to you. Now, that's for content. Now, imagine you are a business owner, small business owner, or whatever kind of service you are offering. Okay, I sell t-shirts, like I sell customized t-shirts, for instance, like God is dope. Okay, now I go on Instagram, I make payments. Okay, now my post is being shown to people that are most likely to buy my shirts, because now they even give you that kind of leverage. Okay, they give you the leeway to decide who would see what you are doing or what you are offering. Now, they take your post, right, and they're offering it to 10,000 people, 15,000 people. You are selling your shirts, you are making money. You give them 5,000, but you have sold 100,000. You made about 95,000 return on investment. Okay, now that's for a business owner. Now you are not a business owner, you are just a content creator. Okay, and then you post a random content, and because your content is interesting, people start to follow you. Okay, people start to enjoy you, they follow you. You notice you have 1,000 followers. As you continue to do what you do, your followership starts to grow from 1,000 to 10,000 to 50,000 to 1 million, and then you have 2 million followers, for instance. Now, Facebook sees that you've garnered a lot of followers. Now, there's a part of that also that comes with the monetizing policy. Okay, Facebook starts to pay you. Okay, now, even though this monetizing is actually coming newly to Nigeria, it's actually working in some other parts of the world. Okay, now, apart from Facebook even paying you directly, you now have brands pay you for reach. Now, I have 1 million people following me. So that means for anything I do on my profile, 1 million people are actually watching. Now, Coca-Cola wants to launch a new product. They need 1 million people to see it, okay? And then they look for me, Emeka, I see that on Instagram, you have 1 million people looking at you already. So instead of taking this money now, I'm going to put it at Ojo Legba under bridge for one billboard that maybe only 100,000 people will see. Let me give Emeka this money, right? Emeka makes an ad for Coca-Cola and then posts it on his Instagram feed or Facebook group or wherever it is where I have all these people following me. Okay, so you see how that also brings in a whole lot of revenue. Now, I don't know. I think I once had a conversation with a group of young fellows. Okay, and then someone said he was following a skit maker on Instagram, and it beats him how much money this person has from just making skits, that he thinks this person is into fraud. And then I said, okay, you know what? let's go to this person's page, okay, and I would make a case for him. Now, if in making the case, I find that in truth, like this is not the truth is not paralleled, right? And then I'll tell you that it's fraud. Okay. Now we go to this guy's page. This guy has about 2 million followers. I introduce myself to the guy. Now that's the Instagram skit maker. I tell him my business. Now I created the business because it was a case study. I created the business. This guy sends me his rate card. Now, what I mean by rate card is he's sending me a bill, how much he will charge me for whatever he wants to do with me. Now, I tell him I am pushing a new product in the market. The rate card has, if you want me to post your product on my Instagram feed, there is a bill. If you want me to post it on my story, there is a separate bill. If you want me to post it on my reels, there is a separate bill. Then he goes to say, I have a Facebook group, right? If you want me to post this there on my Facebook group, there is a different bill. So when he gave me the rate card, I called this young man and I said, see, take a look at this rate card. Imagine 10 brands are working with this skit maker every month. The estimated amount of money we came to at that time was about 10 million monthly, right? 10 million naira, no, not dollars, 10 million naira monthly. So I said to the guy, now take this 10 million monthly, okay? Spread it over a period of time. And then now ask yourself, is it possible that this guy is living this life he's living now out of what he's getting from here? Yes, absolutely yes. So you see, just by building a proper social profile for himself, he was able to become a millionaire. Now, because he has brands paying him, okay? And when the monetizing properly comes into Nigeria now, for every content that he puts out there, right, he gets paid also by Facebook or by Meta, for putting this out there. Now, that's one part of it, organic content for a skit maker. Now, let's go to the business side of things. I recently just was working with a brand. The brand is into skincare and cosmetics. Very popular brand, very, very known brand. If you're a lady here and you're into skincare, even some guys even use it, there's the chances that you know this brand I'm talking about. Now, in Q1, or rather, sorry, in Q2 of 2023, that's I think that's April, May, June, this particular brand started advertising on Instagram and Facebook with about 1 million naira monthly. We at Aleph used to manage that account, right? Rather, we manage the account, not used to. We manage that Facebook advertising account. Now, I watched this business grow from spending 1 million naira monthly, okay? I'm going to give you the wildest figures you probably ever heard right now, okay? Now, $1 million at that time was about, 1 million naira at that time was about $700 or so, okay? As of close of 2023 in December, okay, this business had spent over $120,000 advertising. So you see, we watched this business grow from about less than $1,000 to $120,000 in advertising. Now, tell me, they did not spend this money because they had the money to spend. They were spending this money because they were making sales. Even though they had a physical store, okay, the money that they were making from advertising on both Meta and on Meta, basically, that's both Instagram and Facebook, yeah, was so much so that they could continue to increase how much they were spending advertising. And now you should understand there is return on ad spend or return on invest. I think everybody knows what return on investment is. I put in 5,000, I make 10,000, right? The minimum return on ad spend that we recorded for this particular brand in any given month was about 3x. So 3x means if they spent 1,000, they made 3,000. So imagine if they spent $120,000, they probably made about maybe $400,000. Right? Now, because they were able to leverage the power of social commerce now. Okay, so you see how both on the content side, if you are doing organic stuff, and on the business side, if you are doing paid advertising, there is so much that you can leverage. So much. If you are not using any of this, whether paid or organic, to your advantage, you are leaving a whole lot on the table. right? Now, it's interesting that it's not far-fetched to actually gain the knowledge on how to use these platforms. I always encourage people as much as possible. If you're a business owner, you can learn the rudiments, the basics. You do not have to be a consultant to make money on these platforms. Okay. If you're not a business owner, if you're a content creator, the only thing you probably need to do is consistency. You need to be consistent. You need to ensure that the things that you are putting out there are in tune with what your audience want to hear at that time. There's something we call trends. Okay, you want to make sure that you are jumping on trends. You want to make sure that you are entertaining enough. If you are in education, you want to ensure that you are educating enough. Okay. Once you have those things going on for you, right, it's easy to gather the audience, okay, and then monetize. Now that's on the organic side. On the paid side, you don't have to do so much, right, to gather the audience. You literally just have to pay for the audience, because the audience is already there. Facebook or Meta own the audience, right? And then you pay to get access to this audience. Okay. So whichever the case, right, or whatever the case may be, whether you're on the organic side or you're on the paid side, you really do not want to be out of these platforms. Yeah, I say this categorically. You don't want to be out of these platforms. Okay. So if you haven't, I would advise that you actually start now, okay, to think of the possible ways. What's that gift that you have? What's that skill that you have? What's that service that you're offering? What's that product that you're selling? You have to start showcasing on these platforms. Okay. And then I'll tell you on another side, the side where I am making the most money. Okay. Because now this is me talking to you guys, where I'm making the most money as a digital strategist. Okay. I learned the art of helping people to become more visible on these platforms. Okay. Whether I am being paid monthly by a company or I am consulting, right? I am making money. So that means I am monetizing this platform also. So you see, I have gained the skill of, or I would say I've gained mastery in the skill of running ads for people. Whether you want to grow your organic content, I know how to help you to steer your organic content to reach the right audience. Okay. I know how to tell you, I know what you need to do for your content to reach the right people. I consult for you. I tell you what you need to do. You pay me. Now, if you want to run paid ads, okay, I know how to set up the campaigns. I know how to tweak your product so that you have a proper what we call a proper market fit. Okay, you pay me, right? So you see, as a content creator or as a content moderator, you could get paid. As a small business owner, right, you get paid. As a consultant who understands the platform, you also could get paid. All right. So it's a win-win whichever way. If you choose to pay attention, to these social platforms and decide that you want to make the most out of them, it's a win-win. You could pick what side you think you are best at, okay, or what side actually tickles your fancy, depending on what you are offering. Okay, if you're offering services, or if you're offering a skill set, or if you're offering like consultancy service like me, like what I do. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap this up here for now. I know there are probably going to be questions. If you have any questions whatsoever, maybe you have tried running campaigns at some time, or you have tried learning the digital skill, or you have tried to do the organic side of growing your page and all that stuff, and you're not seeing the kind of results that you should be seeing, or you are new, you want to start this thing, and you're not sure how you should go about it. I'm sure you guys probably have questions. So good news, I think at this point, or goodness rather, I think at this point I could take questions if there are any questions in the house. Thank you guys
Yeah,
for
thank you so much, Emeka. That was
yeah.
so helpful, especially for the Association of Gen Zs who believe that Meta is for millennials. So thank you so much. There's a seat for everybody on the table. So
Everybody.
there's a seat for me, there's a seat for Emeka, there's a seat for everyone on the table. So now we'll take questions. um I'll be waiting for people to ask their questions. You can actually unmute and speak if you have questions, or you can just decide to use the chat box. Okay, so I have a question, and I'm just wondering for people like who struggle to use social media, because I've had times when people would say, oh, I'm maybe introverted and I can't use the social media to express my skills as much as I want to. And sometimes these people are great writers, great storytellers. And I've even seen that because you're introverted does not necessarily mean that there's no extroverted part of you, right? So how do you help people like that convince themselves that they can use a platform like Facebook to shine?
Okay, so if I use the context, for instance, that you have given, okay, writing for instance, writing. I remember when I started, okay, I think I did mention here, I used to write blog posts, okay. So your face doesn't have to be there. You could actually write and get noticed. Now you could write and have your write-ups, posted directly, maybe in small picture formats and all that stuff. There are tons of users, okay, that do some of these things. So I think one of the key things that you want to do for yourself, right, is this: find people that are currently doing the same thing, okay, and learn from them. Now, learning from them doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be talking to you, okay. You could follow the page, observe how they do the things they do, okay. Over time, they started like you too, like you started, but over time they have mastered the art. So you want to follow those kind of people, okay? They have mastered the art of doing this stuff. And then secondly, you want to be sure that the platform that you are picking, okay, actually supports, this thing that you want to do. For instance, if you decide that you want to be a very good writer and you chose TikTok to write your stories, I'm sorry, you'll probably be there for 700 years and you only get 3 followers, because the people on TikTok want to be entertained by people either dancing, laughing, sharing, but it's basically video centric, not even picture centric now. So it then boils down to picking the right social platform to showcase that skill that you have. If you follow me, or if you find me in quotes on 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 Twitter, I have over 20,000 followers on Twitter. If you find me on Reddit, okay, I have almost 100,000 people reading my posts on Reddit, right? Because I've been there for years. Now, if you find me on Facebook, okay, or Instagram, I have less than 500 people following me on Instagram, because I'm introverted somewhat, okay. I'm not gonna put my face out there, for the videos and all that stuff. So I choose my platform, okay, and then I scale on that platform. You get it? I have a small business, okay, on Instagram. My small business has over 10,000 followers. Why? Because I have mastered the art of running ads for the small business, to gain more followers. So you see, so it boils down to picking the right platform and also subtle mentorship, I would say.
Thank you so much. So Olawale Ali, I think he has a question. Olawale, over to you. You can unmute and speak.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hey,
Thank you
good
very
evening.
much.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for this section. I actually joined late, so I don't know if this has actually been talked about, if you've actually spoken about this. Please, I want to ask, could you signpost me to maybe any video or any content that I could actually watch or read more on social media marketing, basically?
Okay, now that's a very good question. I think my colleague Izin here would speak more on that, because for us in Aleph, we actually have a platform that's designed for this level of education. So Izin is going to speak more about this shortly. If I'm correct, goodness, yes?
Yes, you're
Okay.
correct. So there's another question from Oluwaseyi Asan. He says, are there sites that can teach you how to create content? Is it wrong to screen grab another person's content and post and repost without acknowledging them? So first
Okay.
question, are there sites that can teach you how to create content? And is it wrong to screen grab another person's content and repost without acknowledging them?
Okay, so yeah, first question, are there sites that can teach you how to create content? Yes, absolutely, yes. Emphatically, categorically, yes. I can't stay here right now and then churn these guys out from the top of my head, say, go to this site or go to that site. Nah, I can't do that, right? I can't even promote those sites. It's not within my purview. Okay, but yes, there are. You can go on Google and check for some of these sites. They are there, or rather, they are there. Okay, and then on digital ad experts, okay, Izin again is going to talk about that shortly. Okay, you can actually learn some of these skills as well. And now to the question of, is it wrong to grab another person's content and repost without acknowledging them? Yes. Yes, that's intellectual property theft. Every platform kicks against it. Yes. Now, while you may not be arrested for doing it, okay, because I don't know, you just may not be arrested for doing it. But if you continue this way and the owner, the original owner of the content, right, flags your page, it will be taken down by the platform, whatever platform it is, whether it is Meta, whether it is Twitter, whether it's TikTok, okay? You will get away with it only until the person that owns the proper intellectual property starts to report you. And if you have done it for a long time and you have grown your audience with it, and then they report you all of a sudden, you see, you lose everything. So it's best you have your own original ideas. Okay, now you can see something and tweak it. Okay, you can tweak it. A lot of ideas in the world right now are not original, they're not novel. All right. So you can see something that you like, you think you can do something in that direction, you tweak. But don't go about grabbing people's original ideas and then reposting without acknowledging them. No, that's property theft. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emeka. So we'll take one last question before I allow Izzy to speak to the training and their benefit. So there's this question, one interesting question from Olaolu. He says that for those of us in the non-profit space, how do we leverage social media as a fundraising mechanism? Because for us, we're not looking at using ads or posts to generate income, but to attract more funding and also reach more beneficiaries.
Okay, so yeah, for non-profit, all right. Now there are two things that you could leverage. Number one, communities. Okay, so I think it was Toby Loba that did mention earlier that she managed multiple pages, on Facebook, right? So you could actually have communities. Now, one of the fastest ways to grow a community is to actually show value. Okay, if you're in a non-profit that speaks to maybe the Girl Child Initiative, for instance, and you are helping young ladies in tech, okay, you want to proactively and vigorously and continuously post things that will help young ladies, to get into tech. Now, that way you are building a community for yourself. One of the fastest ways you get beneficiaries or you get people to sponsor, or to invest in your nonprofit is that when they come, they can see that you are already giving value. So it's your value that they are buying into. And one of the best ways to build that value space of value proposition is to show them community. Okay, so I have a community on WhatsApp. I have a community on Facebook. So from this community of 1,000 people or 150,000 people, we have been able to send 3, 5, 7, 8, to learn so and so skills. You get it? You see, and if you are wondering, do you necessarily need paid advertising to have a community? No, you do not need paid advertising to grow a community. Maybe you could use paid advertising to show the values that you have started to offer, to announce what you are doing. But if you're going to start that community, it is the value. I'll give you an instance. I used to be a part of a WhatsApp community for fresh out of university graduates that want to start a career in tech. When we started that community, it started with 10 people, then 50, then 100, then 200, okay? But at the time when we started this, there was a limitation to how many people you can have in a Facebook, in a WhatsApp group. So we moved that from WhatsApp and we moved it to Telegram. So you see, but we did not do any paid advertising. Now, Mr. A came in, right? And he saw the posts we were making on that group about the platforms that you need to get free education in tech. Okay. He calls Mr. B. Mr. B goes and calls Mr. C. Before you know it, a full department of university graduates from maybe microbiology of University of Ibadan said, so 2009, Mr. A joins, he tells everybody in the department, they all come and they join. So you see that way we started to build value, you know, gradually building the community. Then when the community started to grow, or when the community rather starts to grow, you can then begin to do paid advertising to reach a bigger audience, or to let people know that this is what you do and that you are interested in people funding what you're doing. I don't know if that answers your question. But community, leverage community building. You should be the community here.
Thank you so much. I really learned from that answer too as well. The ability to just show people that you're doing something very valuable. And Olaolu as well is saying thank you. So I'll just allow Easy take the floor now so that she can speak to us about the benefit of the digital courses that Aleph offers, and it's really something that we should gain from, because some of the questions that we've also asked can be answered through those courses. So over to you, Easy.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Emeka. This has been such a useful session. I think my biggest takeout from this was when you responded to the question about the person asked about content writing. And I remember like my early days trying to figure out my voice on social media. And so just like you said, just the fact that there's a world of information available to you out there, and you can pick any skill and, you know, iteratively learn anything that you want to. I think that's the power of social media. That's one of the biggest powers of social media today. If you connect with me directly, I can share some resources that I used in my journey to becoming a good writer. Happy to do so. I'm about to share my screen. Goodness, could you help me? I think screen sharing is disabled. It says host disabled participant screen share. But if that's not possible, I can just go right and talk about digital ad expert, if that's not possible. So essentially, everything that Aleph has become and has done over the past couple of years in over 60 countries around the world, as you would expect, Aleph is a warehouse of a lot of data, a lot of knowledge, technically skilled people like Emeka, who led this session, you know, sitting across multiple continents in different parts of the world, who've succeeded and succeeded for multiple brands across different sectors, different industries. And so it just became like an appropriate next move, right, for an organization that has done so much in terms of digital marketing and optimizing on behalf of brands, to take that knowledge and create some value that we could give back to the society, given that our biggest priority is basically to enable digital connectedness, right, all over the world, especially in underserved markets. That's really the idea behind creating the coursework Digital Advertising Expert. Digital Advertising Expert is available to anybody, anywhere in the world. We've built this fantastic learning platform that I think is very interactive, very easy to use. We've built out a couple of courses. I'm just going to talk you through what we offer in two groups, essentially. One of the pathways that we offer is a pathway that allows you to take different courses across the different platforms that we represent. Some of those platforms are the platforms that Emeka was speaking about today. So we represent TikTok in Nigeria. We represent Spotify. We represent Twitter. About five platforms, 5 of the top social media platforms we represent in Nigeria. And what we've basically done is that when you go on Digital Ad Expert, you find over 32 different courses across these 5 different platforms that we've partnered with, standalone courses that you can simply just go and certify, right? So say, for example, you have a challenge with a particular platform, right? And you're not looking to kind of take a complete certification because you're just trying to fix a problem with a particular platform. Then that's an opportunity that you can take advantage of, because you can simply go on the platform on the website. I'm going to copy the link to the website as I speak. You can simply go on the website. Just give me a second while I pull up the link. Okay, so I'm just dropping that in the chat box now. So you can simply go on there and, browse through 32 different standalone courses and decide to certify, right, and build capacity for yourself. But what we've also done is create what we call a job-ready certification, which is called Digital Advertising Expert. That is a complete certification that cuts across about 10 major modules. I'll just highlight some of the modules that we cover, right? So we do like a broad global context of digital advertising. We teach you about what it is to build brand personality. We teach you about social media platforms, about 7 different social media platforms. We teach you about performance, digital advertising across those platforms, data analysis and reporting for those platforms. And then we provide some personal development skills as well. So this complete certification actually is a job-ready certification that several people who have certified via this program have been able to take that certification and go into the world of work, working with digital ad agencies or setting up their own small shops where they can basically bring that service to market, just like Emeka was alluding to. Digital Ad Expert is entirely remote as well, and you have like multiple learning pathways. We have the cohort-based pathway where you can join a cohort. A cohort means like almost like a term, right? A starting term, where you can join a cohort and over a 3-month period, basically go through the certification with a particular set of people, almost like you're in a class group. In that cohort-based model, you're able to do like co-learning sessions, you're able to do like join a Slack group and do some case studies together. So that's a bit more interactive than the self-paced variation. But we do have a self-paced variation for those who just are too busy to kind of keep a schedule with everybody else. The great thing about the self-paced variation is the cohort forces you to complete the certification in 3 months. With the self-paced option, it really depends on how quickly you want to learn. With the self-paced option, you can do it in 1 month, you can do it in 6 months, right? So that's really the summary of it. I won't flog it because I think that we've just learned enough about the capacity that Aleph brings to the table. But this is something that we've also kind of just taken from people like Emeka who've worked in the system across different parts of the world, right? We're basically taking all of that expertise, all of that deep experience representing all of these top platforms globally and created a certification that enables anybody to go into the market and do either for their businesses or for somebody else what we do, right? It's almost like we're creating our own competition across the world by providing the certifications, right? So that's it really, that's the long and short of the program. And please feel free to use the link. Anybody who wants to reach out directly, I'm happy to take your direct inquiries and basically help you go through the process of registering and setting up to learn on DAE. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Izzy, and thank you for also explaining the training process and the benefit that comes with it. Okay, so this night has been a wonderful session for me, and I'm sure for you too as well. I've learned a couple of things, and I've debunked myths about the Meta and how we can strategize making money through Meta. I want to make you understand that this is not the final session. There's still TikTok to go, right? I feel like TikTok, well, I want to believe it's a meme because as we go on in each session, right, we keep breaking mental models through this session. So the next session that is coming up in the month of May, a good way to give yourself a good gift in the month of May, right? It's about TikTok. So get ready for TikTok. So we're not saying bye-bye to you. We're just saying, okay, bye for this night. And I want you to also know that you should follow Junior Achievement Nigeria on Instagram if you're yet to, because we are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So get connected with us so that you can get aware around the virtual conversations and every of the benefits that comes with Junior Achievement Nigeria and also Aleph as well. So there's still more content to come. So stay open-minded. My name is Goodness Godwin Usoro, and good night. Have a very good night. Bye, everyone.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Thank you
Bye.
very much. Bye.